Good morning. Morning after the night before. So I've taken the chicken carcass from last night and just a litre of water. I'm going to bring it to the boil and simmer it for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and that will make the base supper we're going to have tonight, made out of the leftovers from last night. So I'm away to town now to do some shopping. See you later. Okay, here we go. Last night's leftovers. So the carcass of the chicken, I had it in about 1.5 litres of water. Bones, whatever was left, residue. I'm just going to take it out and I'm going to scrape the bits of chicken off it. And I'm going to throw in the leftovers of last night's vegetables, because remember I said I did too many. Well, I deliberately did too many. So this is basically going to be my chicken stock. And I did nothing, only the carcass of the chicken and a little bit of salt. So I've got my leftover veg here. I took the garlic out of the covers of the cloves and I peeled off the little bit of squash if there was. So this is what was left over from last night. I'm also going to take out, because I was a bit heavy on the rosemary, I'm taking out most of the rosemary. Now, just to help the thing along, magic lentils. Red lentils do not need to be soaked. So I'm just going to fry up an onion. I have a little bit of celery there, but basically it's based on last night with a little bit of lentil. And this will be the most fantastic, wholesome, healthy, tasty soup in about half hour. So I'm just going to saute off a little bit of celery and onion. Put it on a low heat once it starts to fry nicely. And I'm going to take off my chicken bits and pieces, and you'll see what goes back into the soup mix. Oops, I'm so untidy. Okay, so I've stripped off the meat off the carcass, what was left. So we've got all of this chicken. Okay, so back into our, that has reduced down a little bit, so I'll probably add maybe another pint. And I'm going to make enough soup for about 8 people. The celery, that's just nice, it's translucent and it's not burnt. Flavour's coming out. Onions become sweeter, as does celery, when you cook it off a little bit. So that's going to go in there in about a minute. And hey ho presto, last night's vegetables, just as they are. I'll use a moolie, there's a bit of a thick skin at you. I'll use a moolie later on, or a whisk, to whisk it all up. Look at that already. Yucky da. And about a cupful of red lentils, which do not need to be soaked. To me that's a cup. I like lentils. They don't like me. They make me windy. They're very good for you. Now, so this will be ready in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so I've all added about a pint of extra just boiling water. In goes my sauteed celery and onion. Now remember, what was in the mix was carrots, parsnips, potato, onion, a little bit of pepper, sweet potato and a bit of squash. Now it takes a little while for the lentils to boil up. Don't worry about the, you might think that the rosemary is too hard, but it's not. Now we whisk it up and blend in. Now the last thing I want to do, this is Lidl. I picked this up, it's a seasoning for game, for steak, for poultry. So I'm going to take the poultry one, just for a little bit of extra flavouring. Any sort of dried herb is good, as long as there's not too much thyme. Thyme can be overpowering. Okay. Here I am out the back of Leinster House. It's a work in progress. We started our gardens last year. Phase 2 starts this year. All my own design. I'll start growing my own vegetables again soon too. So, my penny's from a girl in Wales called Sarah Frost, and I bought that at the Royal Welsh Show last year. And my booties are 16 years old from Shuzella, that famous institution that was in Monaghan for many years. So, oh, and my skirt is Donegal tweed. I better go back in and check on the soup. Yes. Okay, so here we are about 15 minutes later, all ready to go. I'm just going to whiz it. Okay, so this is actually rather thick, and the hardest thing to whisk probably in fairness is the rosemary. So if you do want to ladle some of it out, do. But I think it's beautiful in the flavour when it all breaks down. So in fact the consistency of this is quite thick. You could actually add cream to it or coconut milk to it if you wanted to thin it down, or just a little bit of a vegetable stock cube or chicken stock cube. A couple of knobs of butter. Butter's good for you. Butter's better than any of those makey uppy soft spreads. Stick with your butter. A bit of salt and pepper. So there we are, last night's leftovers is tonight's dinner, with a little bit of crusty bread, not a lot of effort. Okay, Michaeli, dinner time. Roast chicken and vegetable and lentil hearty soup. Happy days. Okay, so we're all done. Chicken out of the oven, carved up, roast vegetables. This is only half of what I cooked.